Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So the ETF got approved. I don't know how much that is to mean bullishness. Oops, they took it down. It was up, but apparently they approved it and then removed it from their website. So we will see basically what is the other news. Why did that get removed? Let's see. BTC ETF. So I guess they had to edit that story, but essentially they approved it and removed it from their website shortly thereafter. So interesting. Does this mean more bullish news up to that 49k mark on the support and resistance levels coming up to the top of this range or not? We now got above this range and are trading within this 47. We went up into this 47k region, and the 47.3 get rejected off of this level here. Did just shy of the top of the range here. So do we see a sweep up into this zone right above this 886 diagonal pitch fan we've had price in for some time? Does it burst out of this 886 into this liquidity zone or trade in this ascending channel manner? So far it's been doing this in an ascending channel manner within the 706 to the 886 of this diagonal pitch fan. Let's go take a look at the liquidity of high block. What is high block? Well, people lock that liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker, and we get to see where those crispy characters are. So let's do it now. Boom. All right, so on the 1 minute time frame, you had a lot of meandering around fake outs where they just people too gung-ho to jump the gun, getting swept on both sides, shorts getting swept, longs getting swept, all of the speculative traders getting wick-whacked around, playing with their emotions, and eventually, boom, taking it with that approval to the upside. And what were we talking about yesterday? Let's go ahead and space out our unchanged drawing from the end of the live and see what we were looking at. So we were saying, what would we like to see? Okay, so we'll draw it in the we'll take this, move it over here, keep it at the same level that it's at. Same with this. This was over here, and this was, whoa, the same point of interest, but basically over there. So what we were saying was we basically come down for a double bottom and then reclaim the cloud. So what does that mean? Let's go into the 15 minute and show you. It happened on the hourly too, but essentially we did just that. You have this double bottom event, nearly the same level, but the candles closing in here. Then we came up. You could have gotten the cloud reclaim idea here, but it also did it again here, and boom. So look, the level was kind of near where I was saying, and this one was near that, but a lot of wick-wackiness. Overall, not your highest probability with all of the strange news afoot, but this is what we were looking at with in advance, saying that the cloud would come back, and then you get that cloud kiss safe entry there. So that is what we look at in terms of the Momentum Master Trinity setup, in terms of reclaiming the cloud and holding that cloud for the higher probability play going into that London close, and that would have given you a nice 3% gain. I wouldn't have stuck around for that speculative ETF approval news here because it was just wick-whacking, but yeah, that was that. So let's go ahead and look at the liquidity on the higher time frame. As it stands right now, you still have some liquidity up at 48413 on the 1 minute time frame. Overall, long imbalance to the tune of 7.99 billion that they could come back and sweep down in the lows at 43.96. Remember, the last time they had bullish news about South American country adopting Bitcoin as a currency. What was that? Ecuador? No, El Salvador. Yeah, El Salvador became the first country in the world to use Bitcoin as legal tender, and that was on September 7th. And there was all this bullish news, and then right then they dumped it in everyone's face. So there's a possibility that they reprice, or there's some sort of catalyst like sell the news event after they come up to a certain level. Shout out to everyone here. CNC, Spragadocious, what's up? Hopefully you're killing it. Got all the tools in your disposal to do so. This was a very nice probability setup here. We saw it coming all the way back here, just saying be patient for those double bottoms, and you could get that higher probability setup. Got the 3 time frames oversold alert, you got the cross up event of the baselines, and boom, 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 take it to the upside. All right. So always trade with the cloud. That's what I say. The cloud, trade with the cloud. Short, short. Trade with the cloud. Long, long. All right, so let's go to the higher time frame and take a look as we make our descent. Oh, we didn't go to the higher time frame here. So on the 7-day, we have some liquidity up in the 48,250 region, sweeping the highs for that 48K range on the 7-day. If you go to the monthly, this is what we were looking at in terms of possible sweeps. It looks like you're getting some double digits up in the 51K region now. So there is some liquidity to the upside in terms of 50K bullishness. Do we see this 50K push or not? Let's go to the 3-month and take a look at that. There is some liquidity down below though, so watch out for that. At some point there will be a retrace, a reckoning, a wick, even more scammy than this one, that comes down to that 32K region, and people will be like, why did it do that? And I'll be like, it's happened before and it will happen again. Let's just go remind you of how realistic something like that could be with this nuke up here. All right, so we'll go to the 12-hour time frame. So we didn't have our indicator back then. We're still assembling the tools to understand the nature of price action. But here, okay. So here's where El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as a currency. All right, so we're on Monday, September 6th. They even did that whole scam drop that we had here. Like, this is like a fractal. We had the scam drop, fake out short coming higher. We had that El Salvador adopting. Everyone was bullish, like 70K, 100K, all-time highs, here we come. And then everyone was super bullish because we were breaking into some ranges here. And then what happened? I remember catching the short on the bearish divergence that was printing. Yeah, it was right there. I got in on the shoulder of this head and shoulders. Right there. This shoulder right about here. Didn't have the nukes at the time, but these are calibrated for that sensitivity of that back testing zone. And then it was like, wow, okay, well, that's just a standard retrace. And then what did it do? Boom! And just when it got everyone the most bullish they could be, boom, it just wrecked them. I remember there was a 10% retrace in 10 minutes. This is a 15% drop. So we could see something to this effect at some point. So watch out for your longs is the moral of the story. Just because it got approved don't mean jack. Pay attention to the charts and the fatigue points in the charts and the liquidity in the charts. All right, so let's go into the higher time frame now. 3-day. 3-day. We have 2 days on this. One thing to look out for, we were talking about here, is the cross down event. We have 2 days time for this candle to be rejected off of the baselines and potentially come down to that idea we just outlined for you in a similar fashion here, where it started to retrace back in April of last year and gave an 18% retrace over a month and some change. What was that? 2 months. And then here you had the more obvious one from July that retraced back here. So these crossed over and crossed down events on the 3-day are not to be ignored. And we are coming up into a trend-based fib level, rejecting potentially off of this 786. I'd like to see it come up to this 48K. We've been talking about this for some time, coming up to that liquidity zone here. If we go to the monthly, we can see it a little bit more clearly. Okay, so you 48.2, you got 8 billion, you got basically 20 billion up to that 48.4 price range, and it starts to taper a little bit. Granted, you could come all the way up to that 50 sweep, but getting a little bit fatigued on these 40K, 35K regions, somebody's going to be taking profits at some point. So that is something to look out for as we approach the 48K range. These are some standard deviation levels. I'm going to remove this fib. Too many fibs in one place can spoil the broth, so we'll deal with that as we get there. The thing we want to look at though is possibly coming to the pocket of this original impulse at some point, that 39K region pocket zone. There was a pool down there. We're going to delete the pools because they're already lost to father time. They're still there, but we'll just leave it there for now. It's enough. So the 236 is the level we were looking at for that bullishness at the 42,114 region. Do we continue higher? Are we going to go up into the 48K region and finish the job up here using the bullish news as a catalyst? Let's go ahead and look at the daily. Daily time frame cloud still tapering at this 3 o'clock angle, needs to see a bit of a burst. We have a stopping volume candle for another day here, 2 days of stopping volume. All right, so we had some hidden bullish that took us up there on the daily. If we go to the 22-hour cloud holding nicely as that inversion play off the cloud, thinning and expansion continuation to the upside. And going to the 12-hour cloud also has this inversion continuation to the upside. Money flow back at even Steven levels. We were talking about this money flow disparity yesterday, I believe, telling us that we could possibly come back up. That has happened now, so that idea has played out on the 12-hour subtle upside money flow insertion. 6-hour also looking to bounce off this 50 level. You had a cross down, cross up play that's kind of looking to print a false signal, bouncing off that 6-hour cloud down below. The 6-hour removes all that wick-wackiness from yesterday, and this last 6 hours was a crazy wick-wacky action. but ultimately holding this cloud on the 4 and the 6 as that cloud kiss idea continues. If you are to take a small impulse retrace from here, from this impulse down to this retrace, the 45,221 level, the 48,158 region, this is another confluent zone here, basically coming up into that 48K region yet again, possibly coming up to the 1382 that also comes to a 618 deviation level of this original impulse. So coming up into that region, do we have some liquidity to justify that at 49K? Not really much in there on the monthly. I would allow it to percolate some more. I would, if it were me, if I were a market maker, I would reward this pool of shorts and go just sweep up this mess down below using the bullishness as a catalyst. But that's just me. It did it before, and I've seen it before as everyone was ultra bullish. If you do look at the fear and greed index, we have 76 of fear, extreme greed +3. So everyone getting in that super greed state is when you need to start watching out for your longs. And yeah, so 4-hour time frame having this nice push off the cloud, possible continuation here. You got the 4-hour reset possibly playing out with that 6-hour double top idea here coming up again, perhaps after that consolidation and approval. Get everyone ultra bullish, and then out of left field, boom. So you got the hourly money flow insinuation of that disparity coming to the upside. What do I mean by that? This money flow coming beneath the RSI, suggestive of coming back up for this double top idea. Bounce off the cloud, continuation play. You had this immediate sellout. One big player stepped out here into the liquidity of those 50x breakout traders. Wasn't so many breakouts here, but they came back into all of these. Still some newer players entering long here. Not the place too long in my opinion, but you do you. And let's go ahead and look at the 15 flipping the adaptive here. We originally held it and then did a stop hunt to the downside pre-market to Asia. Wick whacked around, got that approval, came back up. We're now flipping this potential 786 level. Okay, and possibly coming up into this region to sweep that 48K for once and for all. All right, let's go into the total and see if there's anything different. We went and swept that 1.72 trillion mark and beyond, so a lot of insertion came, new money came into the market and held because we put in a higher high on the cryptocurrency market cap, and now we are above a gap from over here. Let's go ahead and delete this really quick. This one is some daily region that we needed to get above. A lot of consolidation here. One way to do that, take a fixed range volume profile. You can do this. It was a point of control for this entire range since 2022. We got above it. So this is interesting to note. Did we get above it and close? We did close above that range. So we closed above the point of control, came up above to this level. So the next level to watch out for is here, 1.792 trillion. There's another rejection point over here from 2021. This is a 706 of this impulse to the downside, this retrace zone that we are coming back into here. Let's go ahead and move this down to here. creating a range. We got another one down here, a wick. These are some levels to look out for the total market cap for cryptocurrency. We came back off of that cloud for that inversion play, bounced right off it, boom, in the last 12 hours. Got a huge insertion of money to the tune of 110 billion. So there was 110 billion inserted back into the market. Boop. If you just look at this player though, basically this same player, 110 billion entered here, and then they re-entered here, and they're using the liquidity to exit and stage up their entry again. So they enter, take profit, enter, take profit. So the same player enters that same amount over and over again. You can measure these insertions, and it's most likely the same entities buying and selling off and buying and selling off and buying and selling off. So do they take it up for a little bit higher? If we go to the total three didn't have that same reclaiming. So Bitcoin was the star of the show. Everyone bought into Bitcoin for that idea. If you come to Ethereum, with Ethereum it's going a little bit higher, and with Bitcoin even higher. So total 2. So let's look at our idea for ETH. Boom. So we had an idea for ETH going to the upside. We talked about this coming to the 618 idea, and then we were also looking at ETH BTC. Let's see how the ETH BTC idea was playing out. Ooh, nice. So we were talking about some rocket ships and watching out for people buying ETH with BTC to play with their Bitcoin gains in ETH. And we had a huge move up from the ETH BTC play. We're also looking at Sol, I believe. We're talking about these chains where people would possibly, this one did not run up as much, but did see a little bit of a retrace into a shallow pocket. We were looking for a deeper retrace. It looks like it gave it later. So originally we were looking for a deeper retrace down to here. They gave it to us after the fact, down in the 10th, before taking off again. Ultimate draw up to this fair value gap at 112. Would like to see that come to fruition for Sol. If we go to Matic, what was my man Steven looking for Matic? Ooh, Matic taking off. So they're doing a sector switch into Matic right now. Matic getting a little bit of reclamation of their liquidity, coming back out of this bearish trend-based fib level. It came down to the 1618, a daily support structure from over here at that 77-cent region. Reclaimed that wick for that double bottom play here. Boom, boom. And then we came back to the cloud here. If you were looking at it on the cloud, you had some cloud entry models here. That was a good one as you held it. Saw some volume on this hour. This volume sell-off held it, started to curve up, and boom. That would have been your key idea, 14%. Move has already played out. Let's look at what the market is doing right now. Everything just booming, bonk going up. I remember us looking at bonk for my friend MMA Mark. Let's go ahead and look at bonk real quick. We had that 618 bounce idea, and a rocket ship appeared over here on Friday, January 5th, and again on Saturday. Went a little bit lower with the stop loss hunt on Monday. We said watch out for your shorts, and boom, seeing some upside action for bonk. Oops. Let's see what this is. 87% gains from that rocket ship play back on Friday. If you held through the shenanigans, you got paid for. Bonk. Alright, so let's go to the Bitcoin dominance and take a look. So the dominance dropping off, which means the alts are playing ball with the gains, and or people buying these pairs with the Bitcoin going to BTC pairs and all that stuff. USDT dominance came lower as projected, coming down into this 786 region. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's turn this off really quick. Indicators off. Oh, we forgot to turn on our heads-up display. Link in the description for more, by the way. What is this stuff? momentummaster.info. What's up, Cluve? Just save in your object tree. Yeah, I know about that. I'm kind of, is the ETF hike finally behind us now? Can we get back to normal trading conditions? Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. That's why I didn't want to enter. It was too speculative. Anyway, scroll down to features, toggle at your leisure, and read about each component, trend line, trend cloud, baseline, stochastic array, and more. Dynamic alerts to your phone and all that fun stuff. So yeah, with the USDT dominance, we are seeing that we are holding this bearish trend-based fib level of the 236 and possibly coming lower. What does that mean? When it goes lower, people put USDT on the table to trade with into trades. So it's going into trades by going lower. That's what we were seeing. We were seeing ourselves not get above this 5.70% region, and sure enough, we came back down. So, looking for a potential short in one of these regions if they can come to a level here at some stage. You have some of these levels down below, 523, 535, these wicks over here, this range over here, this entire zone, if you will. All right. And that's on a 3-day time frame with a lot of daily confluence. So if you come down into this and kind of bounce off this zone or hold this, even the 786 region, you could be looking at a potential reversal. We're not going to change the tune just yet, but if we put on our indicator here, you did have some nukes starting to percolate as we're starting to get to that exhaustion point. So what was the cloud that we were looking at here? The 4-hour. So the 4-hour had us at hello for this downside path. We were seeing the 4-hour not hold this cloud, and we drew this curvature for you, and we were saying if we can't get above the cloud, we're going to come lower, which means prices go up. And sure enough, people put money on the table with the USDT and prices went up. So coming to the hourly, same thing occurs on all time frames. So that same schematic that's on the website here is what you'd want to look for a long, and you'd want to see this kind of reclaiming of the cloud idea, this double bottom, reclaim the cloud, boom, and then it's gone. So you'd want to see that occur here if that is truly the case. Currently we only have a single double bottom. If you look at this as a double bottom in unto itself, it's kind of a little bit of a far stretch in time away, though. It would be more ideal to look at this one, this rocket ship that played out as an example. You'd want to see this double bottom. You have the cross up of the cloud, the baselines and everything, and then that would be your green light. And I believe that was, yeah, that was when we saw that stab to the downside on a Wednesday. So we're not quite there yet. We haven't got the double bottom on USDT dominance. Getting there. We're getting 5 and 6 time frames oversold. That is something that you look at here. You get this 5 and the 6. and then it starts to double bottom and then boom, get out. So we're in the Asian range, so we could be seeing that push up possibly into this region and then doing the thing that we were talking about and get out and basically have this double bottom event. As it stands right now on the 15, the cloud is not curving in any manner here, so you'd want to see this cloud either come down and curve here and or like reclaim it like that if we are going to go up on USDT, which is to say down for BTC. As you stand right now, you have the dominance dropping off here as we reached up into that trap door. We don't call it the trap door without a reason. This 706 trap door is where things like to reverse that sharply. The previous trap door release was here, boom, 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 for the dominance, and it's doing very much the same. Coming back down sharply. The sharp nature of this dominance drop. You have some gaps to recover even from this region. So this one played out, so we're going to delete that and then just draw some retracement for here. So we're coming back to a pocket zone nearly for the retracement of the dominance. We can delete these little lines here. This little support level that could possibly reclaim at this 6-6 region, this little pocket, golden pocket idea for the dominance. If the dominance wants to rise, it is dropping sharply. If the dominance finds it some support here and starts to make its way back up, coming down to a region here and bouncing. Ideally though, people would be washing their profits into the alts now. Interesting. Getting a little bit more of this. Let's see what is going on here. Possibly coming down into some of these $250 million longs down below. If this goes and sweeps up this range down here. You have some 50x leveraged people down here at 46,101 and 45,910. If they go sweep up the longs, there's about 7 billion, 8 billion in long liquidations they could go back to, and not bat an eyelash about, as everyone wants to FOMO in to the ETF approval idea. So far, what you have right now on the 15 is a cross down event. Asia session opening up. Hong Kong notorious for dumping, not pumping. If you see Asia normally just goes sideways and or hands off to the downside to London. London continued to the downside, so New York reversed it. So they have this complement within the Asia, London, New York range. We've talked about it many times on the channel, which is why we have this range, the sessions down below here. So does the Asian session bring it down further? I'd like to see some key confluence up in here. Let's go see what this 48K has to bring in terms of squeezing some shorts one last time. $48,474 for that 257 million bubble. 47 Wait, was that? Let me see. That was 48,456. 48,456. We'll just put that up there. See if that hits. Right there. So there's this little pool of shorts to the tune of what is it? 152 million up there. So they could go sweep that little pool up one last time if they want, after going and refueling off some 50xers down here. So it's possible they come down to the cloud, watch for that cloud retrace, and then boom, look for some sort of rejection up in here. Okay, that is what I'm looking at right now. Not trying to long this personally, but I'm trying to look for a sweep potential setup for a sell the news event, perhaps, because there's been big players that have been positioning since September off our rocket ships that we've been going over since September and October, and those people want to get paid. And how do they pay? They sell into the buy stops of the shorts, and they sell into that level and look for a good news catalyst to get a lot of hope-filled retail Johnny-come-latelys to spot their sells order with their stops. Pair it up, pair it up, pair it up. So possibly seeing a rise here. That rise would coexist with the idea of coming back down to recover this wick, and then possibly seeing a short opportunity. Oh, also to be aware of the news, you have CPI data coming in hot pre-market. This is the pre-market news plays. They generally come with a fire, so watch out for that CPI. You also have some PPI on Friday, so today and tomorrow are going to be spicy. Watch out for your news. You have any? No. Now there's the ETH ETF hype. No wonder. The ETH ETF hype. No wonder we were looking at the ETH BTC pair as that rise up with that nuke, you know? Sorry, the rocket ship rather. So the rocket ship play with that hype got you paid if you were playing the ETH BTC pairs. So everyone looking for that swap up to the ETH thing. So if the ETH one gets rejected or something, I don't know if it's there's a deadline. I don't follow it closely enough, but that looks like it could be some sort of play. Did you have anything else to take a look at? ETH prediction. Oh, nice. I got you, Muhammad. Did you see back for that earlier? Did you see the ETH prediction, I hope? Let's just go back, make sure we put it out properly. USDT. Well, we were basically looking at that zone coming up into that, and ETH could just keep going if Bitcoin plays ball a little bit higher, coming up to that $2,700 mark. We came back above a fair value gap for ETH. The reason why I would keep going, I told you about the ETH BTC pair thing, and we are coming. There's a point of control here. A lot of points of control. We came back above. There's a resistance level over here at 2588. Currently above it. If we get above that point, which we are above 2701. 2701 would put you just at that point of control there. So we recovered this gap here at the bottom of the range with no reaction to downside. So ETH could keep running up into some of these points of control here. You have one at 28.10, you have another one at 27.02. This 27.02 one coincides with this deviation level, so I'd watch for that deviation level up here. But for the interim, looking like it could go up here to that 27k mark, or 2700 rather, sorry, 2700. If we look at the hourly, getting a little bit of nuke fatigue here as they rotate into this with bullishness in the overbought status on multiple time frames. Watching that close on an hourly, would be nice to see how this 4-hour closes here for ETH. You had this nice little bounce off the cloud similar to BTC for that cloud play. The move has basically already expressed itself, so looking to see where you would take profits would be up in there. And that's ETH. Anything else while you have me? Last chance. I gotta get going to work. What's up, Cat? So yeah, BTC possibly coming lower. You could look for it to possibly bounce up into some shorts. We'll see how the news plays out today with the CPI and the PPI tomorrow. Nasdaq also got a bit of a push to the upside here. We're continuing higher, coming back into some key levels here. Starting to get some fatigue up in this region. You have some reactionary points up at that 20 level. We were looking to go higher yesterday and we were on point by that measure. So looking for a potential reversal. It is Thursday, January 11th, midweek reversal. So you have some key reversal ranges up in here, this entire zone really. Essentially from this entire region could be your end point. So you have multiple places for it to retrace back down. It's been trading pretty fairly on this rise up. We're watching the order flow in our Discord as well, going over how the shorts, the buyers were still in control when they were punishing the shorts. We had a key zone we were looking at prior to the market. When we were going into the open, we were looking at the idea of coming up to that 938 region. We ended up taking that and then some. So the Asian session trading up for, we forgot to look at the dollar, so let's look at the dollar. The dollar dropping here, basically still trading in this range, waiting for the news play today. We had a little bit of a gap down here. Interesting to note, we gapped from here to there. There's a little gap in there as we start to express ourselves to come down into this region. As the Bitcoin ETF thing happens, do people start to take profit as this goes down? Are we going to retrace into the low of the last week and basically take that Friday low out and then come back into this? Dixie still hasn't given its hand yet where it wants to go. It did go lower, but you're just trading in this range right now. Your 6 time frames oversold. This is the Asia pre-market, so the Asia pre-market may be taking it to the insinuation of going lower with the idea of going and taking this wick too. What's up, cat? Why are you biting me? All right, so unclear with the dollar right now, going sideways. Created a little initial gap down with the opening range with the ETF news, but that's par for the course. Are we going to continue up with the news play? Hand has not been shown. We do have a low from Friday, which bullishly bounced off of that fair value gap, did not even come back to it. That was an hourly one too. Okay, so yeah, so everything's holding the range. Bitcoin looking to potentially go up to that region. We're looking for that 48K sweep, and ETH BTC possibly going higher. $48,455 is where that pool is that we're looking at. We got a previous high of 47,966 to reclaim. We came up to that one time already, sold off at 47.6. We got the 50xers down at the cloud here to come back to, down at this region here. 50x pool at 46,101. Do they refuel off of them and go higher is the question. We're here for it either way, and thank you for your time. Let's go see if you have anything to say. Thanks. Oh, no problem. Thank you. And thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the